Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you're well. This is the Prince Ripstick 98 review dealing with the smaller head size of the Ripstick. What is a Ripstick? It is a very spin-oriented frame for aggressive strikers, players with fast swing speeds. They will enjoy extra launch angle, extra spin, and it comes with these O-ports. And if you haven't seen this before, it probably looks pretty funky. These are quite extreme versions of the O-port, quite extreme holes. And it does take off some vibrations from the frame, so even if the frame is pretty stiff, it's not feeling as stiff because you will have more string movement. Creates a little bit of a trampoline effect, which is going to give you some depth, but it might not give you pinpoint precision at times. In the past, we've seen O-ports that have been very, very flexible rackets, like the XO3 Tour. You might remember those. Some pros still contact me and want to buy. I mean, I sold a few to pros in the past, and these ones are definitely like more on the extreme side. It's the most extreme line in the Prince racket silos, and we can go through them, but if you want a more plush feel, you go for a Phantom, flexible, classical, but still pretty forgiving. That's the Prince Phantom. If you want more of a standard response, you go to a Prince Tour. Pretty versatile frame, easy to use, more of a standard racket. And you can then go to either the Ripcord, which is the blue version of this without the O-ports, also kind of more of a power racket, blue for power, you know this, or you go to the fire frame, the Rip stick, so you can get even more pace and even more forgiveness if you go for the 100. But this is the more controlled option. Did not exist in the previous generation of Ripsticks, if you remember those, the kind of 80s inspired cosmetic, which was a fun racket. I really like that one, still have it and still enjoy it. And this one packs a little bit of the same thing, pretty much, in a slightly more controlled option. So that's the introduction out of the way, and we can look at the specifications, which is quite interesting. As I've said, this is a 98 square inch head size. Sometimes head sizes can be measured a little bit in different ways, so some 98s are 98.8 or some 100s are 101. So good to keep that in mind, that it's not like a gospel, these head size measurements. It can be rounded off, right? But this is a 98 and it's a pretty large forgiving 98. Standard length 27 inches, 68.5 centimeters approx. Strong weight 323 grams, and that was pretty much spot on according to my Metrotune as well, and it's 305 grams strung if I'm not mistaken, and its balance is pretty head light. So this is where I think one-handed backhand players such as myself and Nikki in this video, we really enjoyed the whip you could get, and it's much thinner in the beam profile, which we will get to, so really lends itself super well to the one-handed backhand. And if you're struggling with the one-handed backhand, it's always good to have a bit of extra mass, extra stiffness, help on the off-center shots, because you're probably not going to hit it always here, right, with the one-hander. It's a tough shot and you need some strength. So this spec for the one-hander, very, very good. One of the best one-handed backhand rackets. Still, it packs a punch. Swing weight strung, 328 according to Tennis Warehouse. On my Metrotune, my X sample here was 327. So very close, good QC from what you can say. Stiffness, 67 strung. It's 70 unstrung, meaning if you put strings in, it's more flexible. The stiffness goes down about 3 points. The beam is interesting here as a thick one, right? Look at here. It's super thick here. Not everyone's cup of tea, of course, but for that hand feel when you play one-handers and for pretty aerodynamic properties, it is thinner in the throat here, and that is very, very good. Lots of power and stability up here, down to 22 millimeter down here for a more whippy feel. 16-18 pattern, Prince, they have it figured out. It's pretty dense. Very open on the sides. Here you can, put your finger through. But here it's pretty evenly spaced, but quite dense. So no shocking flyers, no real like super hot spots in the string, but pretty consistent. And overall, a really well-reviewed racket if you look at the Tennis Warehouse reviews. And with the players I tested it, I thought this would be maybe a little bit like too much for some of them, but they all liked it. Jesus liked it a lot. Nikki really liked it, and he's pretty pessimistic with new rackets, so pretty surprising, but in a good way, right? If we look at how this racket plays, the playability, I mean, the power is decent. It's a 98. It's a powerful 98 with lots of spin. It's not overwhelming. You can control it. The string bed helps. You can string like 52 pounds, 53 pounds poly, pretty firm poly, and pretty comfortable anyway. It's not a comfort racket, but the O-port does help with some vibration, so I didn't really get bothered with my arm, even though I strung it a little bit higher with control poly. But I would still not string it like 56 pounds unless you are playing ATP Tour tennis. The net, this is a stable racket, but not with the pinpoint precision. It's a spinny frame, so drop shots works really well. Really felt like connected to that spin element, kind of like an Arrow, a Head Extreme, these types of frames. This is where this slots in really well, and probably one of the best one-handed backhand frames in that category, along with the Extreme Pro, I would say. So very whippy frame, fun racket to use. For me, maybe a bit too extreme to take into a match. I do feel like sometimes I'm not 100% sure where the ball is going. I need to really put a lot of spin on it, but this is normal for this category of racket. Like, it's the same with the Arrow. There's an explosivity to the string bed, and if you're a classical player or a player that hits with a bit more of a lower trajectory, more of a flat striker or a guider of the ball, then I don't think these types of frames will work for you. You need to be a guy that rips, a guy or girl that rips the ball, that really gets under it and puts a lot of racket head speed. Then this racket will deliver good launch, heavy spin, and it will give you some plow through thanks to the semi beefy swing weight, which I think is good. So not an all-rounder racket. If we talk about the pros and cons and who is it for, as I said, aggressive baseliners 100%. This will be your frame. I think you will enjoy it from back there and can generate lots of spin, lots of tricky balls, heavy shots to your opponent. Spin potential is off the charts, really good. It's a solid feel, solid thanks to the thick beam and the high stiffness and the pretty beefy swing weight. Feels like the racket really doesn't move easily or twist easily when you strike the ball. Worked well on serve, and not like a rocket server like a pure drive, but a very good frame on serve. You could whip it through the contact zone, but control can suffer. That is a con, something I would struggle with probably in a match where you are a bit more tight and you want 100% confidence, and it's a pretty limited in terms of the appeal, but this is kind of standard. So how it fares against other spin rackets like the Arrow and the Extreme, I think the Arrow is a bit more versatile of a frame. I think this is a bit more extreme also in the looks, so it's more of a fun frame than Pro, Extreme Pro, and many other spin rackets. I think this could be easier to go to than the Arrow. The Arrow seems to work better for two-handed backhand players. That gives you an idea, but it's a good frame. I like it. Playability, really. I felt like it played pretty similarly, to be honest. Slight more control than the 100 from previous year. Prince rackets are good. Don't just look at if they sponsor players or not. There are many good racket brands that don't have like strong player representation on the tour, so don't look only at that. I know there are budget issues or strategy decisions made around that, so we don't see Prince, we don't see Volkel or some smaller brands with many players on the ATP Tour. That's not the strategy, that's not the budgets they have, but they still make good products, and this is a good product. I would still probably personally prefer the tour ones for a bit more versatility for my game, or the Phantom if you're like a more of a touch feel. The Phantom is brilliant. Really love the versatility of the Phantom. But this is a fun racket to use. It gives you spin, gives you some pop, and I did enjoy playing with it. It has a pretty strong demographic in terms of players who really attack the ball with high swing speeds. I'm not one of those, so it doesn't suit me 100%, but if you are, check out the Prince Ripstick. You can check it out. Tennis Warehouse Europe, but tennis only. If you want to support Tennis Nerd, you can use the links or a discount code TNERD10 for Tennis Warehouse Europe. No discount codes for Tennis Warehouse, sadly. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you find your racket. If you are lost in the jungle of rackets, we offer consultations, we offer recommended strings, recommended rackets on tennisnerd.net. Obviously no cost for that stuff, and there are all kinds of options to get out of the racket jungle. If you like to be in the racket jungle, well, welcome. I'm never getting out of it, it seems. But yeah, have a nice day now, and don't forget to play some tennis.